Hi, how you doing and welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going into Game Week 15. We're going to take a quick review of how my team did in Game Week 14. Then we're going to talk team selection, transfer advice and captaincy thoughts moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. The support is really appreciated. We're a small channel trying to grow and it really does make the difference. So thank you to all of those who have supported the channel so far. Let's get into the video. So as we get the team on the board, it was a pretty good game week. After 7 red arrows in 8 game weeks, in the last 2, we've had 2 green arrows back to back. And although the red arrows were quite small, the green arrows have been really big. We've had 200k rises this game week and last game week. So we've gone from about 950k to about 550k. And it just goes to show, if you're having a bit of a bad time out there in terms of FPL, it can turn around in an instant. So just stick with it because this next game week could be the one you get that big green arrow and really kickstart your season. In terms of point scoring, defensively, Raya got a clean sheet and Robinson got an assist late on. But because my defenders are so cheap, I don't really expect loads from them. So if they're getting 1 or 2 points, I kind of anticipate that because of the price. If they can get a return or a clean sheet, I'd like to think 1 out of 3 would get a clean sheet every game week. That's pretty good. And I don't really want loads of money tied up in my defence at the moment because clean sheets are so hard to come by. I'd rather invest that in the midfield and the attack where a lot of the large point scoring is coming from. And the same kind of goes from my bench. Lewis Hall came in off my bench because Colwell wasn't playing and he got 1 point. But I'm okay with that because a lot of times 4, 5, 6 players in your starting 11, they get 1 or 2 points. So I don't really want a load of point scoring tied up on my bench because sooner or later that's going to come back to bite me and those players won't come on. So I'm more than happy for my bench players to be at least playing for their teams, and it means that it's just going to keep topping up that score because 1 or 2 points isn't going to be the difference between a good or a bad game week. It's going to be who you captain and which attacking players you have in your squad at the moment. Speaking of which, I did captain Cole Palmer and it wasn't that bad a decision. If you'd have said to me before the start of the game week that Chelsea were going to score 5 goals, you'd have definitely captained Palmer, and that's what they did. He was just unlucky. I think he had an expected goals ratio of over 2. So he was expected to score even more based on how he played. And Southampton are just that team to target. So I was more than happy to have captained Palmer and at least I own Salah, right? We got him in on the wild card a couple of game weeks ago, and he is, I think, the fastest player ever to get to 150 points in FPL, which just goes to show how well he's playing. So could I have captained Salah? I absolutely could have done. But the risk of not captaining Palmer, Chelsea scored the most goals out of anyone in this game week. So it would have made sense to have captained Palmer in hindsight as well because they were just the most attacking team. It just so happens that Salah went and scored more. Now, Bruno and Bowen, I'm still happy with them. If you watch that West Ham game, they had 20 attempts on goal in the first half, which is the most they've ever had in any half in their entire Premier League history. So it's not like they were just getting battered. They were on the front foot. But having watched it, they could also have been playing till the weekend and probably not scored. So they did look a little bit toothless in terms of an attacker or a striker. But Bowen did play through the middle at some points as well, which was good to see from a midfield player playing as a striker. So I do believe that Bowen will turn it around and West Ham probably will start scoring some goals soon. Watkins and Isak were great. If you'd have seen our preview video last game week or earlier this week, really, with how close the fixtures are, you'd have known that we were thinking of making either 1 transfer or 4 transfers. Well, as it turned out, we just made 1 transfer in Mbeumo to Bowen, and we didn't take out Isak and bring in Saka, which was awesome because not only is that an 8-point differential this game week, Isak now has some really brilliant fixtures coming up. So he had a bit of an injury and he had Liverpool, and it's like, do I keep him for this game week? But because Semenyo was on the bench, I was like, well, if he doesn't play, Semenyo will come in, and that's okay. Semenyo has a good chance of getting a return against Spurs anyway. So now we've still got Isak. He's a captaincy option moving forward. And the same for Watkins, who they both got a goal and assist. It was absolutely brilliant to sort of have them because they're not super highly owned elsewhere, which also helped me get that big green arrow because a lot of players will own Palmer and Salah. It's who you can get in around that who might have a bit of a differential compared to the mass population of FPL players based around your rank. So let's take a look at the fixtures, and it's a pretty interesting week for fixtures, to be honest, and captaincy. I think if you own Salah, you absolutely captain him. That would be my advice. But me personally, I'm at risk of not taking my own advice, mainly because Salah plays at 12:30 on Saturday, and that just sort of, it plays on my mind a little bit. Midweek, it doesn't really matter because so many players play European football during the week, so the captaincy doesn't really have an impact. When it's a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday, I'm just aware that it's out of their usual routine. I know it's local, and Everton sort of are playing, it's a Merseyside derby, but for me, I think having Salah is still a good option. But Watkins at home to Southampton, it's really a case of what's more impactful in FPL. Is it how good Liverpool are or how bad Southampton are? And I really do think it's a case of Southampton are worse than Liverpool are better. So for me, I'm thinking of captaining Watkins just because of that upside against Southampton. Now, he is at risk of rotation, but I feel like a lot of FPL players, a lot of players in the Premier League are at risk of rotation as well. So I think if you wanted to play it safe, you go with Salah. I think Watkins is the next best, because even Haaland away at Palace, that's not the best fixture. Palace are a hard team to play away from home. So for me, I am seriously considering captaining Watkins. So the preview for this game week is looking pretty good. The team on paper looks fantastic, and I do have 4 free transfers in the bank. So it's really a case of, do I need to use them? And I don't. I'm really happy with my team. So I think for me, having a team that I'm set up with from a wildcard 2 weeks ago is important. And all my players look good. I am seriously considering playing Semenyo and benching Strand Larsen, but let me know in the comments what you think about that. Whether you think there's any other players that I should be transferring in or transferring out. Bear in mind, I don't have any money in the bank, so I can't make any moves even if I wanted to without selling somebody if I wanted to upgrade the defence. So that's the team. Watkins as captain, Isak I'm happy with. Salah and Palmer, fantastic. Bowen and Bruno, got good fixtures as well. So hopefully you've had a good game week. Just remember, if you haven't, it can turn around. Please do subscribe, like the video. It's really, beneficial and well received by us, because we are that small channel trying to grow. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.